What's going on? This is Gaffney for the United Devils, and in this video we're going to get into our predictions and the preview and talk about the upcoming game tomorrow night at Selhurst Park against Crystal Palace. And I think this is going to be a big game. I mean, we've been saying that at every game that comes up, but this one is especially big because, you know, we're going to see a lot about the players' mentality, if we're going to be able to bounce back from the poor result Monday night, and whether we can get back into form and turn it round. So this game can tell us a lot about you know, the rest of the season, how we're going to do, and next season. So I did just see Ole's press conference. Well, the first half, the second half's later on tonight. It said on the Man United app, and in the press conference, you know, there were some questions asked, not to do with the game, like, oh, you know, Ole, do you think this is the best United team post Ferguson? And he said, you know, it's not his place to say. He talks about Martial and how he's basically doing well. He talks about Greenwood, and he's basically just said, you know, positive things about the players. He seems in a positive mindset still, despite the poor result and that we bottled it against Southampton. But, you know, nonetheless, I suppose the positivity is not exactly a bad thing to have, but nonetheless, he also spoke about, well, he was asked about the game, and he said the Sunday game is irrelevant to him. He said the Sunday game's not in his head, you know, coming into this game. So I'm assuming by that he's saying he's prioritising the game against Palace tomorrow night, and that he's not going to be resting players for that game. So yeah, so I think that's basically saying, you know, he's going to go all in today for this game, which I think he should. I think this game's obviously more important. A lot of people are going to say, yeah, the FA Cup semi-final, but because we can win a trophy. But I think we've got more. I don't know, I think we've got an even chance of winning the Europa League, if not probably more chance of winning the Europa League. You've got Chelsea, who we've already beat 3 times this season. I mean, yeah, we've probably got a better team and we could beat Chelsea, but I don't know. I think, you know, hearing beating Chelsea 4 times in a season sounds pretty mad. And then after that, well, there'll be City and Arsenal. You know, I would expect City to go to the final, so that'll be a tough game as well. Especially, you know, City are going to be hungry at the moment. They are looking hungry, even though they've avoided that ban. So, you know, there's a big question over should players be rested going into this game. And I think we've had 2-day break since the game against Southampton. And this season, Ole's played a lot of the players, you know, almost every game. There hasn't been much rotation. Maguire and Lindelof have barely been rotated. Wan-Bissaka's barely been rotated. Obviously, the keeper's not going to be rotated. Shaw's probably been rotated the most because of his injuries, but, you know, he's obviously picked up a knock again. So the back four has barely been rotated. Rashford's been injured. Martial had an injury. So, you know, there was question over should players be rested, and I don't think they should. I think we need to go all in today. Obviously, I don't think we'll have the same 11 because of the 2 injuries that had happened on Monday night. But yeah, I mean, in the last fixture as well, the last time we played Palace was at the start of the season. I think it was back in August. We were at home. So, and we lost 2-1. I think Palace were winning 1-0 for the majority of the game. Or, I don't know, they were winning 1-0 for a bit, and then towards the end of the game, I think Dan James equalised. And then we went in and bottled it, and Palace scored again, and then we lost 2-1. So that was terrible. I mean, we need to get our own back at Palace for this, but they're going to be a tough game. Under Roy Hodgson, they've got, you know, the likes of Zaha. Their captain, centre mid, I can't remember his name, was it Milikovic or something? I probably butchered his name. He's a good player as well. They're not going to roll over and take it. I mean, yeah, Palace probably don't need this game as much as Villa did. And we still turned them over 3-0 at Villa Park. But Palace are never going to be an easy team to play. They always come out fighting. I mean, they almost got a result against Chelsea. You got lucky at the end there. And yeah, they're a well-organised team. They fight it, and we're away. I mean, yeah, there's no fans. I mean, Palace have great fans, but they're not going to be there. It's at Selhurst Park, but they've still got the familiar ground. And every time we go there, it's always a good game, really. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see. I mean, I think you can make a good argument that this game will be harder than the Southampton game, just because Palace away is normally a tricky fixture. But I mean, we'll see going into the game. Obviously, it's a big importance because we need to bounce back and get into form. So the 11, I actually think is going to start. Look, I think anyone's guess is a bit of a wild stab in the dark, especially in comparison to the last league games. I think anyone could have predicted the right 11, so I think there will be a bit of rotation. It's it's taking a stab in the dark. It's a guess. I mean, De Gea, yeah, I'm sure I'll go for De Gea and probably start Romero in the cup. Aaron Wan-Bissaka, yeah, okay, he hasn't had his best couple games, but he can get back into form. It's against his old club, by the way, at his old stadium at Southwest Park. Lindelof, yeah, I mean, he did really well up until the end yesterday. As for the goal, I think it was a few mixed sort of errors, but it was poor defending either way, so I think you just got to blame the defence as a whole for that. But yeah, I do think we'll go with Lindelof. Harry Maguire, yeah, I mean, he started like almost every game that's actually a big game this season, so I think Maguire will start. Now, probably the biggest, guess for this game is the left back position. I've gone for Diogo Dalot. I think they'll go with Dalot. I think Williams, yeah, they say a concussion's normally 48 hours or something like that, and it did look pretty bad. I mean, if you saw the pictures, he was bleeding all from his head, and he was gone. But I've gone with Dalot as well because I don't think Shaw will be ready. I think Ole said in the press conference Shaw had a swollen, bruised ankle. He hadn't seen him yet. He doesn't know, but he's back in training, so it doesn't look like a shocking injury. But I think it's been 2 days. I don't think they'll risk Shaw, and I don't think they'll risk Williams. I think they're more likely to play Williams, but I've gone with Diogo Dalot. They could even bring up one of the youth players and play them. You never know. I've gone with, the Matic, Pogba, Fernandes midfield. None of them turned up in the game on Monday night. I gave Matic a 7. Looking back, I'd probably give him a lower rating, but nonetheless, I reckon it'll be Matic, Pogba and Fernandes. And there's big importance because they need Pogba and Bruno to turn up because, we struggle without them. We've got that, barely any creativity in the midfield without them, if any. So, yes, I've gone with those 3 in midfield. And I've gone with the same 3 up front. Greenwood, Rashford and Tony Martial, because I don't think James is going to be a threat again. He's a good player, he's quick and that, he's tenacious, but I don't see, he's actually not that great at getting past people. He doesn't do clever things. I think he's a good player to bring off the bench if you're looking to counter attack. So yeah, I've gone with Greenwood, Rashford and Martial. Yeah, so that's the 11 I'm going to go with. Hopefully, we can see some brilliance, and hopefully we can turn over this game. If I was going to predict a score, it's always, you never know how football's going to go, so you can't never actually predict a score. I'll say 3-1, 2-1, 3-1. I'll say 3-1 United. I think we can turn this around and get back into form. I'll say Rashford and Martial to get to something like that. It could be anyone on the score sheet. I could see Greenwood getting one as well. So that's going to do it for my prediction. And the preview against Crystal Palace. Hopefully we can get back into this game, get back into the season with wins and stuff like that. Make sure you follow me on Twitter at GaffneyH02, and I'll see you in the next one.